Respect. Respect for you, yourself, respect for your environment, and respect for other people. It's one of those words where if somebody said to me, Rowie, if you could change the world, if there was one thing that would change the world, what would it be? My answer would be respect. Can you imagine a world where everybody had self-respect? Everybody respected other people and we respected our environment. So if you respect yourself, would you be healthy, fit and strong? Would you eat healthy food? Would you exercise regularly? Would you get plenty of sleep? Would you have a career or business that you love so that you're not doing some lousy, stinking, rotten job? There's a whole heap of things that come into play when you talk about self-respect. What about respect for other people? Would we have challenges with discrimination, with bigotry, with bullying, all the things where people are nasty to each other or they gossip or they criticise or they're negative? If I respect other people and their right to have an opinion, would the world be a better place? What a great question. And then what about our environment? If we respect other people's things, would we steal? Would we draw on other people's buildings? Would we put rubbish on the ground? What a beautiful word. So what do we do to get it? How do we teach it? And is it something that we can change in the world? And of course, I can't change what other people do. I don't think you can change what other people do. It doesn't matter how positively we think or how optimistic we are. People are going to do what they're going to do. But what about us personally? How do we live our life? And are we living in a self-respectful way? And it's a pretty big, important question, a life-changing question. But the little things that are really important to having a healthy, fit, strong body and mind that show that we respect ourselves, are we doing those? And I always ask the question, if I respect my body, what am I going to put into it? To keep my brain healthy and my body healthy, am I going to look after the fuel, or what kind of fuel am I going to put in? So am I going to be hydrated or am I going to be dehydrated? Am I going to put in highly nutritious food? So I've got vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, fibre, so my body works effectively. Am I going to have a body that can process all of those things? So will I be fit and will I be strong? How fit do I want to be? How strong do I want to be? If I have ultimate self-respect, would I just be averagely fit and averagely strong, or would I really aim to be the best I can possibly be? And these are just questions that go through my head every single day. I get accused on quite a regular basis of being a little bit fanatical when it comes to having a clean house and exercising every day and having a healthy brain and learning every day. People say, Rowie, you're such a fanatic, or you're such a control freak, and I like to put it into very simple terminology. I call that self-respect. Because I respect myself, I look after myself, I sleep well, I eat well, I exercise every day, I have a beautiful environment. One of my core values is to have a clean, effective, highly maintained environment. I'm married to a martial artist where the number one code for a martial artist is respect. K-Man's Martial Arts School has a Dragons Code. Dragons, D-R-A-G-O-N-S, stands for discipline, respect, attitude, gratitude, honesty, never give up spirit. That's the code of his martial arts school. That's who I live with. I married that person because I respect those things in other people. I use the word again. I respect that in other people. So whatever I respect in other people, is it possible that I'll get that in return? Probably not. I can't expect other people to do anything. But if I respect them and respect their right to have an opinion, and I respect their right to believe in what they believe in and eat the way they want to and exercise the way they want to, is it possible that we'll have a better relationship? And that's always my question about respect. I can't stop people from smoking. I can't stop people from stealing. I can't stop people from being disrespectful to each other. But am I living the example every day of a person living, not talking about, not preaching and teaching and telling, but am I actually living the example? So when people say to me, oh, Rowie, you're so fanatical, I just say thank you. And it's one of those communication techniques that I've learnt and I apply on a day-to-day basis. When people try to pull me down, when they're negative, when they say horrible things to me, I think it would be disrespectful to fight back, to argue back, because it would say more about me than it says about them. There's that great quote, what Peter says about Paul says more about Peter. The way I respond or react to what people do to me says more about me than the horrible things that people do to me. So what am I doing to be respectful of myself? And one of those things is to smile, nod, and walk away. Smile, nod, and walk away. If somebody says to me, Rowie, you're so fanatical, you're such a control freak, I just smile, nod, I'll say thank you, smile, nod, and walk away. Because I don't want to lower my standards. I think it would be disrespectful to lower my standards to suit the people around me. And I'm not asking you to do the same. I'm just sharing that for somebody who gets accused on a regular basis of being healthy, fit, strong, happy, positive, disciplined, I get accused of those things. And I'm wondering why they're not a code for life. Imagine if the Dragon's Code, Dragon's Code starts with discipline, respect, attitude, gratitude, honesty, never give up spirit. They're just beautiful things to live your life by. And that's why I've created an outdoor training area for K-Man. We have an indoor training area that's almost finished, because martial arts for me is something that shows respect for yourself and teaches respect for other people. So how do we get respect for other people? Is it possible? Or how do we teach respect? Is it possible that we have to live it in every area of our life? What if it was a driving force? What if it was a code? What if it was a non-negotiable standard that I'm going to respect myself in every area of my life? I'm not going to show any kind of disrespect to myself. So I'm not going to be lazy. I'm not going to be dehydrated. I'm not going to have a messy environment. I'm not going to treat other people badly because I'm going to be a respectful person. I'll ask the question, if you could do one thing to change the world and make it a better place, what would you do? I'd love to hear yours. Mine has always been the same. I would ask for out of the sky in a pretty pink box for respect to fall down onto everybody. Self-respect, respect for other people, and respect for our environment. Every time I go past some graffiti or every time I see rubbish on the ground, and I'm one of these people that if I see it, I stop and pick it up. I'm one of these people that if I go into a public toilet and it's dirty or messy or there's paper on the floor, I pick it up. I don't do that for any other reason that I want to be in a respectful environment. And what's really interesting about that particular example is often if I go into a public toilet and there's other people in there and I'm cleaning up the toilet, they often join in. And maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe live the example, and maybe live the example in public so that people can see that it is normal, it is okay, it is acceptable to be respectful. If somebody's being disrespectful, what do you do about it? Do you stop it, or do you just walk past? And that's one of my, again, life philosophies. It's a quote, but for me it's a life philosophy. The world's always going to have shitty people in it and shitty stuff's always going to happen. But the world only becomes a bad place when good people do nothing. And I don't want to be one of those shitty people, and I don't want to create horrible experiences for people, but I don't want to be the person that walks away either. I can't walk past something that's wrong. If you walk past it, are we making it acceptable? Is it disrespectful if you see rubbish on the ground to leave it there? I tell a very fun story, and it's just my story. I was driving out of one of our colleges on the Gold Coast a very long time ago, and the car in front of me at the traffic lights dumped a whole pile of McDonald's wrappers out the window. And I've been to some really dirty places in the world, and a lot of people accuse the Gold Coast, for example, Surfers Paradise is dirty or it's grotty. Well, I was living there at the time and I loved it. I thought it was the most beautiful place ever. So I was very respectful of my environment. So I got out of the car and I picked up the McDonald's wrappers and I tapped on the window and I said, could you please pop those back in your car? Now, the really fun part of this story was the kids in the car said, we told you, Dad, you shouldn't have thrown the rubbish out the window. I'm sharing that with you because how do our kids know what respect is? How do our kids know to be respectful of their environment if we're not living the example? And if a parent thinks it's acceptable to throw rubbish out the window, then surely the kids will think it's acceptable to throw rubbish out the window. Luckily, in this case, the kids didn't think it was acceptable. The dad did it anyway. But I came along and said, no, this is not acceptable. Here's another example. I have no challenge with people that choose to smoke. I don't smoke because I think it would be disrespectful to my own body to put crap into my body. But I respect other people's rights. Some people love to smoke. It's part of their stress relief. They just really enjoy it. But one of the things that I find really interesting is that perhaps people would never litter, but smokers will often put their cigarette butt on the ground. And I am the person that will go and pick up the cigarette butt and give it back to them and say, please, could you put that in the bin? Or I'm going to put this in the bin. Now, I hate picking up dirty things and I hate cigarettes. But I think it's disrespectful to leave a cigarette butt on the ground, so I'm the person that will go pick it up. It's hard for me to talk about this stuff because I often get criticised for it, but I'm really proud of being a respectful person, and I would like our kids to become respectful and learn it from who? Who are they going to learn it from if they don't learn it from the adults in their lives? So think of respect. Think of the Dragon's Code. K-Man's Martial Arts Club. To become a member at his martial arts club, you have to live and train and compete with the Dragon's Code, which is discipline, respect, attitude, gratitude, honesty, and a never give up spirit. I would love that for all of our world. So even if you are a martial artist or not, if you're an elite athlete or not, if you're a business person or not, if you're a parent, teacher or a coach, what if as adults we live our life as respectful people so that our kids can learn by our example, because we are living the example of respect. I would love for our world to be a respectful place. How about you? I feel good, na 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 na. I love my world and I want to make it a beautiful place. Woohoo!